Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Fresh off the VMAs, you performed last night. You closed out the show.
Yeah, does anyone have a Band-Aid? I like pulled a giant piece of my guitar out of my hand.
Just now?
Yeah, but it's been, well, I did it last night, but it won't stop bleeding, so I just keep wiping it on the inside of my pants. Maybe I'll just keep my hand in my pants.
That's cool. Yeah, that looks very natural. Unfortunately, they all know why.
Okay.
We'll get you a Band-Aid. Let's see. You know, I'm actually genuinely curious how long it takes to get a Band-Aid during an interview. So we'll see if we can even make it in time. Right. But you mentioned that you got a piece of your guitar. I was getting nervous when people try to smash guitars. Were you nervous that you were going to be able to effectively smash it? You did a great job.
Well, that was never part of the plan. I kind of did it out of, there could be a documentary about everything that happened backstage at the VMAs last night.
A documentary about how it went exactly according to plan?
Yeah. I wasn't supposed to close out the show.
Here we go, look at this.
Oh my God,
look how fast it came.
so much.
You weren't supposed to close out the show. That
No.
seems to me like at award shows, there's usually a pretty hard, locked-in run list.
It was the,
So they came to you and said, change of plans, you're going to close the show?
I was in my set piece. I was in the grave. If you watch the performance, I start out in a grave, and it got, in the middle of the show, they took me out of the grave, and story for another day.
That is, well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like this is a pretty good place for it. I do like the idea of somebody being like, somebody has to go tell Machine Gun he's not on. It's like, he's already in the grave.
Yeah, I was in the grave, for real.
So were you fully covered? So somebody had to come over and like knock, knock on the grave?
No, the grave was an open grave.
Did you then, when it was all over, it went well, you won, you got an award presented to you on television. Did you then go out later in the night? Be honest.
I did. I ran into Pete last night.
You went? Yeah, Pete did a concert, a stand-up comedy show for 9/11.
Yeah.
At Madison Square Garden. So you went out, you saw your friend Pete.
I saw Pete, and I saw Chappelle.
Chappelle? Had you met Chappelle before?
Well, funny story. That was the first time me, Pete, and Dave have been in the room since Dave flew me and Pete out to his house to smoke.
To smoke weed.
And then he sent us back because I had a show. But
okay.
He found out he was coming to Ohio and for my show, Christmas show, and he was like, oh, you guys just got to come down and hang out. I'm like, oh, you're like 5 hours away driving. He's like, no worries. There's a jet there waiting for you. You guys have to get on. And we got on. We landed. He forgot it was his mom's 81st birthday. As we all do.
Right. Well, if you're the kind of person who flies people in for weed, you tend to forget dates.
Yeah, exactly. And so we went, so he picks us up when we go there, and then, I don't know if I could say all of it. It was just like, it was the most legendary. It certified Dave Chappelle as like the ultimate rock star to me. And, then,
and is this a photo from them, or is this a different time?
No, this is
because I was like, this is not the photo I expected based on what you just said.
No, that was actually from a couple days ago. Pete flew in. I wrote and directed this movie with a friend of mine, Mod-Sun, and he came in to do a cameo on the last day.
Oh, great.
And he was like, well, we should have breakfast, and I got to breakfast, and we were looking at the menu, and both of us saw this drink, and we were kind of looking at the name of it, and we were like, it looks so good, but like, I don't want to be the one to order it. So we both looked at the waiter, and we were like, can we get 2 Beach Boys, please?
The Beach Boys!
So like,
you guys are the new Beach Boys. I love it. So I just want to get the timeline right. You were doing a show in Ohio, and instead of driving 5 hours, Chappelle jets you to his place.
We fly back.
How long are you there?
We do like a solid, mom's 81st birthday for...
So you went to the party?
Yeah.
Great.
Which it was a party.
Great.
81-year-olds go hard.
Absolutely,
and
they do.
Did that 2 hours. Chappelle has different man caves around the town. So we stopped in there. Talib Kweli was in one. Like, we went to another place. Like, it was the most random night. We end up at his house. His wife was like furious that we were still there, like, get these idiots out of here. So he's like, all right, you guys got to get back on the plane. So we get on the plane, go, we do the concert, and then me, Pete, and my daughter decided to do an 8-hour road trip to New York to go to his mom's house, and we spent Christmas at his mom's house.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well turned around. Your daughter is 12 years old? And does she ever go to your shows?
Yeah.
And does she enjoy?
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
She's a concert kid.
And she can stay up late and do that whole thing? I guess 12 now.
Late,
yeah, I would imagine at this point, yeah.
Yeah, she looks at me like I'm a loser. I'm like, all right, it's 1 a.m., I'm a tap out. She's like, dork. What?
I have a quick, I have a tattoo question.
Okay.
I know you have a lot. Maybe something that you and Pete connected on. And one thing that he's talked about on the show is like, sometimes you have one that you end up maybe regretting over time. You've gotten all your album titles tattooed on yourself. So does that then put a higher burden of pressure on the title when you're coming up with it, knowing that you're going to get it inked on?
It puts pressure on how well the album does. No one wants to put the flop on their body.
Sure, I didn't think about that.
But
right.
it's done me well so far. It progressively has gotten better every release. I'm just worried, like, if it turns into a Jay-Z situation where I have, like, 13 albums.
Yeah.
And then I end up having to be like, all right, I ran out of space. I guess I'm doing it right here on my nose. Or like, yeah, or like my eye, I have to sacrifice an eyebrow and just put like.
Right, yeah, you can't be that prolific. You got to like tap the brakes a little bit so you don't
like like live at Seth Meyers' kitchen.
I would love, we would love to do one of your live albums. Hey, this is really cool. So you wrote this graphic novel. You got a bunch of different really great artists to work on it.
Yeah.
I've only done it the one time. Bill Hader and I wrote a comic book a long time ago. And the most exciting thing for me was when the art comes back. Was that just so thrilling?
Yes. Yes, and like it was really cool being able to reach out to certain artists that I like. I love the way that the art looks in Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
And we were able to get certain people that I was fans of to contribute to this. I'm more of a cerebral comic reader. Like I love graphic novels that take you on like really intricate journey. I like Sandman. We were talking about Sandman backstage. So I mean, I'm hoping to turn this into something that becomes a world. Kind of like I love how Disney World is such a fantasy like place that is, you know, you can go to. This does
not strike me to be like Disney World.
A little bit opposite of.
I don't want to show some of these pictures, but it's very not Disney World.
We won't. The audience doesn't have to see, but it. These are things we don't show the television.
No, we don't show the television. Here, I'll just give a line. The man I killed when I was 17.
Ah.
That's my favorite ride.
Yes.
At Disney World. It's so great. You start on like you're on a roller coaster, and on the way up, it's like tick, 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 thump.
Oh my God.
And then everybody in the roller coaster is like, wait, what was that? And then you just hear sirens in the roller coaster.
The police just come out and arrest everybody like, well, you just killed somebody, so time to go to jail. You're a lifer.
So you grew up, I know you kind of, Cleveland, worked in a mall. And this was when you were also, you had mixtapes. You were doing mixtapes. So that's a very cool thing to be doing. What were the stores you were working in at the mall at the time?
I worked in an airbrush store for many years.
What were people getting airbrushed back in the day when you were there?
A lot of RIPs and a lot of free.
Okay.
Whoever, free Chris.
Okay.
You know, that would. When someone got arrested, that was when a lot of money came into the shop.
Interesting. So that would be a bad time for the Chris's.
Right,
but a good time for the airbrush.
And there wasn't a person that came in that I wouldn't rap for. Like anybody that came in, I was like, I enjoy this T-shirt. Now also, I'm going to rap for you for the next 3 minutes.
Great. So not here's a mixtape. You were like, I'm going to do it face to face.
Yeah. And then I would also like to charge you $5 extra to leave with my mixtape.
Wow. And now, what was the sort of hit rate you had? How many people were actually buying the mixtape?
You'd be surprised at how many people in Cleveland like come up to me now when I'm walking around and are like, dude, I remember you when you used to rap in the airbrush top.
Really?
Yeah. It was, and because Tower City is the middle point of Cleveland between East and West Side. So all the trains, there's like a one train station in the middle. And so all the trains would come up and everyone would come up in between their stops and like after school and everything. And so anyone that was walking, and the movie theater was right there. Like when You Got Served was in theaters and everyone came out, I was just in the hallway the whole time like.
So you would just wait for people to come out of a movie and you thought if they were at that movie,
right next to the
and you would just like rap. And now, how many people? Now, when people say, "I remember you rapping," are they saying, "I bought your mixtape," or do you think now they regret that they?
No,
okay.
A lot of people bought my. Like that was how people heard it. That was how the labels heard about me because I was a really big mixtape artist in Ohio.
Out of Cleveland.
Yes. And then some people remember me from working at Chipotle.
Okay. Because you were a rapper, or just you were really good at it?
Because I was a burrito rapper.
You were really. Well. I hate giving the last word to the guest, but I don't think I'm going to beat that. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Hotel Diablo is available September 28th.